Our brain functions like a small yet remarkably industrious power plant, constantly generating electricity. This electrical activity originates from the billions of nerve cells known as neurons. Every thought we conceive, every sensation we experience, and every action we undertake is the result of the exchange of minute electrical signals between these cells. These signals, termed action potentials, arise due to the movement of charged particles called ions across the neuronal membranes. One might ponder the electrical output of a single nerve cell. It's minimal. However, when billions of these cells become active simultaneously within the brain, exchanging these signals, the overall energy consumption becomes substantial. Believe it or not, despite comprising only about 2% of our body weight, the brain accounts for approximately 20% of our total energy expenditure. This energy is dedicated to maintaining the electrical charge across neuronal membranes and facilitating the transmission of messages between neurons at junctions called synapses. Synapses are essentially the communication bridges between neurons. Each mental process or physical movement we execute corresponds to the activation of specific neural circuits within the brain, a process entirely dependent on this continuous electrical activity. Indeed, these astonishing electrochemical reactions within us enable our perception, thought, and interaction with the world. Thus, our seemingly tranquil minds harbor immense power. In simpler terms, for the brain to operate, to think, feel, and command movement, it constantly produces and consumes electrical energy. This energy is essential for maintaining the electrical balance within nerve cells and enabling communication between them. The more intense the brain's activity, for instance, when we're solving a complex problem or learning something new, the greater its energy consumption. This highlights the critical importance of this small yet potent organ for our proper functioning. Now, let's delve a bit deeper and examine more details in straightforward language. Imagine each neuron as a tiny battery possessing a specific electrical charge. For this battery to function and communicate with other batteries, other neurons, it must maintain this charge and alter it when necessary. This maintenance and alteration of electrical charge necessitate energy expenditure, much like an electronic device requires electricity to operate. How do these minute batteries neurons communicate? As previously mentioned, through electrical signals called action potentials. An action potential is akin to a rapid electrical message that travels along a long fiber called an axon, reaching the neuron's terminus. At the end of each neuron, a small gap known as a synapse separates it from the subsequent neuron. Here, chemical communication ensues. When the electrical signal reaches the end of the first neuron, it triggers the release of specific chemicals called neurotransmitters into the synaptic gap. These neurotransmitters act as keys, binding to receptors on the next neuron. This binding can either stimulate the next neuron, causing it to generate a new electrical signal, or inhibit it, preventing signal transmission. All these stages, the generation of the electrical signal in the initial neuron, the release of chemicals at the synapse, and the reception of the signal by the subsequent neuron, demand energy. The brain continuously pumps ions, those charged particles, into and out of neurons to maintain the appropriate electrical charge and ensure accurate signal transmission. This ion pumping is an active process that consumes considerable energy. Consider the extent of our daily thoughts, feelings, and movements. All these activities necessitate communication between a vast number of neurons within intricate circuits. Each time a thought takes form, a memory is recalled, or a voluntary movement is executed, millions of neurons are firing electrical signals and exchanging chemicals at synapses. This intense activity is the fundamental reason for the brain's high energy consumption. Consequently, despite its modest size, the brain is one of the most energy-intensive organs in our body. This high energy consumption underscores the vital role of proper brain function for our survival and interaction with the world. Much like a high-performance race car that consumes significant fuel despite its relatively small size to achieve high speeds, our brain expends considerable energy to perform its complex functions effectively. Excellent. Let's now examine the implications of this high energy consumption for the brain and how it meets its energy requirements. Regarding the question of why the brain consumes so much energy, as previously stated, a substantial portion of this energy is dedicated to maintaining the ionic balance across neuronal membranes. This ionic balance is crucial for generating action potentials and ensuring accurate signal transmission. Visualize a dam with water at differing heights on either side. To maintain this height differential, analogous to the electrical charge difference across a neuron's membrane, we require a pump system that continuously moves water from the lower side to the higher side. Similarly, neurons possess ion pumps that actively transport ions against their concentration gradients, a process requiring significant energy. Another portion of the energy is utilized for transmitting messages across synapses, the release of neurotransmitters, their movement across the synaptic cleft, and binding to receptors, as well as their subsequent reuptake, are all energy-dependent processes. Now the question arises, how does the brain secure this energy? The brain relies on a constant flow of blood, carrying oxygen and glucose, sugar, for its energy supply. Glucose serves as the brain's primary fuel. Neurons are incapable of storing energy, thus necessitating a continuous supply of glucose via the bloodstream. Oxygen is also essential for the aerobic metabolism of glucose and the production of ATP, adenosine triphosphate, the principal energy-carrying molecule within cells. Consequently, any disruption in the brain's blood supply, such as a stroke, can rapidly lead to neuronal damage and impaired brain function. Without sufficient energy, neurons cannot sustain their electrical activity, and communication between them is disrupted. Indeed, this high energy consumption renders the brain highly susceptible to energy deficits. Even a brief drop in blood glucose levels can impair concentration and cognitive function. This underscores the critical importance of proper nutrition and maintaining stable blood glucose levels for optimal brain performance. Furthermore, this high energy consumption may contribute to the brain's need for sleep. During sleep, the brain has the opportunity to reduce non-essential activity and dedicate its energy to crucial processes such as memory consolidation and the clearance of metabolic waste products. Ultimately, comprehending that the brain is a highly active and energy-demanding organ highlights the importance of prioritizing its care. Healthy nutrition, adequate sleep, and stress management all play significant roles in maintaining optimal brain function and ensuring its energy needs are met. Considering our discussion about the brain's electrical function, it might be interesting to note that this activity can be measured. A common method for this is electroencephalography, EEG. In this technique, electrodes are placed on the scalp to record the brain's electrical activity as waveforms. These waveforms can exhibit different patterns associated with various states of consciousness, such as wakefulness, sleep, or different stages of sleep, as well as certain medical conditions. Furthermore, research in the field of brain stimulation is very active. Techniques such as transcranial magnetic stimulation, TMS, and deep brain stimulation, DBS, utilizing electrical or magnetic fields, can modulate the activity of specific brain regions and are employed in the treatment of some neurological and psychiatric disorders. This demonstrates that the very electrical force that underlies brain function can also serve as a therapeutic tool. In summary, understanding the electrical nature of brain function not only aids in comprehending how we think and feel, but also paves the way for diagnosing and treating some challenges related to brain health. We can now turn our attention to the role of this activity in more intricate phenomena such as consciousness and awareness. Imagine a grand orchestra where each instrument, analogous to a group of neurons, plays a specific role. To produce a harmonious symphony, analogous to a thought or a conscious experience, these instruments must interact precisely and synchronously. This synchronization is largely achieved through complex patterns of electrical activity within the brain. It remains incompletely understood how this coordinated electrical activity ultimately gives rise to subjective conscious experience. But scientists hypothesize that specific patterns of neuronal firing in widespread brain networks, known as neural correlates of consciousness, play a pivotal role in this process. These patterns may involve synchronized oscillations in the electrical activity of different brain regions at specific frequencies. Beyond consciousness, the brain's electrical activity plays a fundamental role in regulating our states of alertness. For instance, during wakefulness, the brain's electrical activity is typically rapid and irregular, whereas during different stages of sleep, slower and more synchronized patterns become dominant. Changes in these electrical patterns not only indicate shifts in the level of consciousness, but also likely contribute to the processes of repair and memory consolidation that occur during sleep. Moreover, disruptions in these electrical patterns can lead to various neurological and psychiatric conditions. For example, in epilepsy, abnormal and synchronized electrical discharges in large groups of neurons occur, potentially leading to seizures. Understanding these electrical abnormalities aids in the development of diagnostic and therapeutic approaches for these conditions. In brief, the brain's electrical activity is not merely a basic mechanism for communication between neurons and information processing, but also appears to play a significant role in complex phenomena, such as consciousness, awareness, and the manifestation of certain neurological disorders. Studying the patterns of this electrical activity remains one of the most captivating and challenging areas of research in neuroscience. In concluding this fascinating discussion, we can gain a more comprehensive appreciation for the magnificence of the brain and the nervous system, recognizing this unparalleled structure. The human brain, with its approximately 86 billion neurons interconnected in extraordinarily complex networks, is truly the most intricate structure known in the universe. These billions of neurons, forming trillions of synaptic connections, constitute a powerful and adaptable information processing system capable of learning, thinking, feeling, and controlling all aspects of our existence. The brain, composed of various regions, each with specialized functions yet working seamlessly together, features the cerebral cortex, its outer wrinkled layer, as the center for higher cognitive functions like language, memory, reasoning, and consciousness. Subcortical areas such as the hippocampus for memory, the amygdala for emotion processing, and the cerebellum for motor coordination fulfill vital roles. Neurons, the principal cells of the nervous system, with their unique structure specialized for receiving, processing, and transmitting information via electrical and chemical signals, utilize dendrites to receive signals from other neurons, the cell body to process information, and the axon to transmit signals to other neurons or target cells like muscles and glands. The brain, composed of various regions, each with specialized functions, yet working seamlessly together, features the cerebral cortex, its outer, wrinkled layer, as the center for higher cognitive functions like language, memory, reasoning, and consciousness. Subcortical areas such as the hippocampus for memory, the amygdala for emotion processing, and the cerebellum for motor coordination fulfill vital roles. Neurons, the principal cells of the nervous system, with their unique structures specialized for receiving, processing, and transmitting information via electrical and chemical signals, utilize dendrites to receive signals from other neurons, the cell body to process information, and the axon to transmit signals to other neurons or target cells, like muscles and glands. The nervous system, divided into the central nervous system, CNS, comprising the brain and spinal cord as the body's control and processing center, and the peripheral nervous system, PNS, encompassing all nerves outside the CNS to relay sensory information to the CNS and carry motor commands from the CNS to muscles and glands. The remarkable coordination among all these components, the billions of neurons, the intricate networks, the specialized brain regions, and the extensive nervous system enables all our vital and cognitive functions. From a simple blink to solving the most complex scientific problems, all are the result of these delicate yet powerful interactions. Furthermore, one of the most astonishing features of the brain is its adaptability, or neuroplasticity, through which it can modify its structure and function throughout life in response to experiences, learning, and injuries. This capacity allows us to acquire new skills, adapt to new environments, and even recover to some extent after brain damage. In conclusion, the brain and the nervous system not only enable our interaction with the world, but also form the very foundation of our identity, thoughts, and emotions. Studying and understanding this magnificent structure remains one of the greatest challenges and most captivating fields of science, with new secrets being unveiled daily. The grandeur of this system is truly inspiring and demonstrates just how complex and wondrous we are. And so unfolds the narrative of this silent sovereign, this small, intricate universe dwelling within our skulls. The brain, the weaver of dreams and the architect of thoughts, the wellspring of emotions and the director of our actions. Billions of neural stars in the dark sky of our cranium, each moment igniting, radiating the light of knowledge and consciousness, and weaving the very fabric of our being. This soundless orchestra, with its electrical symphonies, leads us in the dance of life, from the perception of a single petal to the unraveling of the mysteries of existence. This enigmatic garden, every thought that blossoms within it, every memory that takes root, stands as a testament to its boundless power. Let us then behold this miracle nestled within our heads, this wonderland where every corner holds a story, every interaction a poem waiting to be sung. And let us know that this wondrous force, this essence of our being, flows within us always, guiding us towards understanding, towards existence. And silence, the only sound that can truly encompass the immensity of this inner world. A silence filled with meaning, filled with life, filled with a power that shapes us in every moment.